Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. What's up, friends? Welcome back to the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. This is your host, Martine Williams, your CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And guess what? Today's episode, just me, myself, and I. And I'm really excited to just spend some time sharing with you just some life updates, some business updates, and just share some things that the Lord has put on my heart. And I hope by sharing part of my journey and my story that it will inspire you, it will challenge you. And yeah, it'll just be, I never want to waste your time, whether it be here on this podcast or if you're ever at an event where I'm speaking, your time is valuable. And I never want to waste that. So just a little update. So most of you, if you've been following me or you've been following the show, know that back in not this past January, but January of 2022, I made the decision to close up shop on my 31 business that I grew for 15 years, very successful business. Honestly, didn't see it coming, thought that I would be a 31 consultant and top leader for the rest of my life. Like I really just still love the company, still love the mission, love the product, still use the products all the time. And I just didn't see this coming, right? I didn't see the thoughts and the feelings of leaving ever landing in my lap, but they did. And really felt called to step out in a huge way from a faith standpoint and into a season of rest. And if you know anything about me at all, you know that I'm a worker bee. I'm very self-motivated, and I need more accountability to stop working than I do to get to work. Like it's just, I was actually messaging with somebody today, and it like hit me for the first time that I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. My grandmother owned her own business. My grandfather owned his own business. My dad owned his own business. And so it's just a part of my DNA. I've worked since my father owned restaurants. So, who does he call when someone doesn't show up? So, I have flipped pancakes. I have breaded shrimp. I have washed dishes. I've hostesses. I've done all the things. And so this idea of pausing the work, and side note, as a mom, you're always on the clock, right? You're always working. But from a professional standpoint, earning and working, to be called into a state of pause was foreign for me. But it was so needed, so needed. There's so much power in the pause. And I've done another episode, I can't remember what episode it was, on the power of the pause. So it went through that season. It's lasted longer. We as a family kind of talked about it and felt that 6 months would be a good time. And it's really funny because we can make our plans, right? And the Lord just laughs at us. He's like, well, that's what you thought, but you need more time. And so going through the season of rest, and I really feel like it was a time of preparation, a time of reflection, a time of rest and presence, just being in his presence and being in the presence of my children. Y'all know Lucas is my oldest. He's getting ready to go off to college in the fall. So I'm so thankful that I've had that opportunity to have this time to do all of those things and set my own pace. And I think that is what feels really good right now, is that although I have done an excellent job, which is why I'm so passionate about coaching women on this topic, I've done a really great job of harmonizing my business with my life. The idea and just having that time of not having to perform, right? And not having to bring in the income and all of that. It was just really, really needed for me. And again, I know it was an absolute gift and I did not want to waste it. So now almost a year and a half later, I'm ready. Right. And I feel like it's time. And I've been doing some things behind the scenes, and y'all have heard me talk about it a little bit here and there. And the Lord has just continued to bring people around me to encourage me, to support me in this new season that is divinely appointed for me, and the assignment that I now have to continue to use my purpose and my gifts and my talents to help mompreneurs, which is why the podcast never went away. That was the only thing in that season of rest that I kept up every single week, because it feeds my soul to be able to take this opportunity to connect, even though I'm not actually seeing you. It's amazing to me the people that listen to this show that I had no idea were listening to the show, that will come up to me just recently at my brother's birthday party, and she may be listening. I had totally forgotten. She's like sometimes I'm listening to you and you're speaking right to me. It's just encouraging. I love getting that from y'all, because again, I don't want to waste your time. I want my words to be seasoned with salt and to encourage you on the days you need the encouragement, maybe challenge and push you on the days that you need to be challenged, because that's the kind of coach I am. That's the person that I am. And that's what I like to receive as well. So I don't know why I went there, but the podcast was the one thing that I kept going throughout this season. And the Lord's just been opening my eyes. And I will share with you that throughout this whole year and a half, my biggest prayer was that He would just illuminate my next step. Now, I shouldn't say the whole year and a half. I would say the first 6 months, I kept praying, like, just tell me what I'm going to do next. Just tell me what I'm going to do next. Like, I'm a person who likes to know the whole plan, step by step. Like, if you give me the plan, I will work it and I will go after it. That's why I'm so coachable. When any of my coaches have worked with me, my friend Sherry, who was my coach for 15 years, she's a dear friend now, but she always said, if I told you to stay on your head for an hour and it would give you this result, you would do it. And it's so true. So going into a season, like when He told Abraham just to go, right? No details. That's how I felt. So I finally gave up on that, realized He's not going to give me all the things. So I just really started praying, like, just the next step. Please just illuminate the next step. And I've been praying that and praying that and praying that and asking my friends to pray that. And He has been faithful to do that. And just, I think it was February, maybe it was January. So maybe right at the year mark, our church was doing a 21 days of fasting and prayer. And it was at like 6 a.m. And so I went. And the one day that I went, like, they tried to pick a different topic for you, for us to pray about, or, to spend time in prayer about. And this particular day was about the women in our life. And, whether it's your mentors or your family, your mom, your sister, whatever, like just praying over the women in the church. And so at the end, they asked if, anybody wanted to receive prayer. So of course I went up there, and the woman that was up there, she knew me, she knew my story. She knew how much I loved 31 and my mission and my passion for women. And I just went up to her I'm like, I just need prayer. So she kind of knew the story, but she didn't know necessarily what I'd been praying for. And so she just prayed like the most amazing prayer over me. So we get done, and I had to immediately go to the gym to my workout, but I had needed to go to the restroom before I did that. So as I go out of the church, out of the sanctuary, go to the restrooms, the hall's like dark. And I'm thinking, why is it dark? Like the lights, people are here. People need to, I'm like, maybe it's closed. Maybe this side of the church is closed and we're not supposed to use those restrooms. I'm like, well, I'm just going to go anyway. And I took a step and the lights came on. And then I'm like, well, that was weird. I mean, I know they have lights that are on like auto, like, was it called motion detection or whatever? But anyway, they're never like this. So then I go around the corner and it was still dark, and I was still just like, I stopped, I paused, and I thought, maybe I'm really not supposed to be going this way. So I walked. Another set of lights came on, and then I go into the bathroom and it was dark, and I stepped in and the lights came on, and I get in the stall and I just start laughing because I'm thinking that would be so cool in the middle of the night to be able to have lights that just like come on as I'm walking down the steps to go to the restroom, or if I have to get up in the middle of the night and get a glass of water, that'd be really cool. And then it hit me, y'all, like the Lord was showing me, just take your step and I'm going to illuminate it. Like, just take your step and I'm going to illuminate it for you. I'm waiting on you to take the step. And it was, again, y'all could say I'm crazy. What I'm reading into that, whatever. But I know in that moment, the Lord was telling me it was time for me to start taking some steps. And although I had been taking some baby steps, it was more like, all right, let's get over this whole needing all the plan, needing the perfection, and let's just go. And so it's funny. The next day I went back because it was every day. The prayer and fasting was every day for 21 days. And I went back. I'm like, I'm just going to test God, and I'm going to go back to that same place and just see if the lights are still on that, where they're triggered by emotion or whatever. And I went around the corner and everything was lit up. And so I know that that was for me. And maybe that's for someone listening today, that maybe that's not your unique experience, but you felt like, okay, this is me. She's describing me. I'm sitting back and I'm waiting, and I'm praying that the Lord will illuminate my next step. And I'm here to tell you, he will. He's faithful to do that. And he has done that time and time again over this year and a half, not giving me the complete blueprint, not giving me multiple steps, right? He illuminated each step that I took. The light came on, and I'm so grateful and thankful for that, because it just was confirmation that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm at the pace that he wants me to be. And he's gone before me, and he's preparing me. He's preparing everyone and every opportunity for his timing is perfect. So I wanted to share that with you. And I shared that very quickly on the episode with Jade Simmons, but I wanted to bring it up again because it was such a powerful moment for me, that immediately after she prayed for me, walking down there, and that happened. So I'm excited to say, that was my word last year. No, my word last year was cultivate, but illuminate is the word that he's given me for really what I want to help mompreneurs to do. I want to help you illuminate you. I want to help illuminate your strengths, illuminate your confidence, illuminate your uniqueness that God has given you to make your mark in your homes, in your businesses, in your relationship with your health, in relationship with your children. Just that word, like, I want to help you to shine bright. When I think about illumination and what that stands for, that's light, right? And so many of you are walking around burned out, and that's the opposite. So I think that word is very intentional. I think he gave that to me very, very much intentionally. So you're going to see that as my website gets completed on my marketing. You'll see illuminate, cultivate, elevate. Those are the three words that are very much the words that he's given me for this next season, and what you will experience. So whether we're coaching together, whether I'm speaking at an event, that's the experience that I'm going to provide. And it's the experience I've been providing, right? It's just able to define it in a way that is exciting for me, and hopefully will be exciting for you. So you'll see more details over the next probably month. You'll start seeing me talk more about the website, or see the website being completed, and you'll see all the opportunities for you to connect with me, whether it be via coaching, or if you have an event coming up and you need a speaker, or if you have a team and you want me to do some speaking for your team. And I'll share with you just briefly, right before, I guess it was a year before I felt the tug to transition out of 31, they hired, who is now a dear friend, Becca Johnson. She's actually been on the podcast before, who is a certified PDP professional, which is what I am now as well. And she took me through the Pro Scan. And you're like, what is the Pro Scan? And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on it because I'm going to do some episodes specifically on it, because it is very, very detailed. It's one of my favorite, most informative personality and performance surveys I've ever seen to be able to give someone. So she walked me through that, and really, again, illuminated for me and affirming. It was very affirming, like, okay, this is who I am. I don't need to compare myself to another mompreneur or another entrepreneur and how she's building her business. Like, these are my unique gifts, and I can build my business using my unique gifts. I don't need to be her. I just need to be me. But also, what the Pro Scan will illuminate is in real time how you're doing. And there were some real signs in that survey that were like spot on, explaining why I was feeling the way I was feeling at that time. And it wasn't a state of burnout. It was, I don't really know how to explain it, but I wouldn't really say, I guess it could have been a little bit of burnout, but basically I was, again, trying to be someone that I thought I needed to be successful in the business, or to take my business to the next level. And when you are constantly in that state and you're not getting the reward for doing that, then that's where you feel stress. And that's where you feel like, is this even worth it? So just that real-time functionality of the ProScan survey is what sets it apart from all the other, I believe, personality assessments and surveys that you may have experienced before. And I've experienced all of them. This one by far is my favorite. So it is the number one thing I will be using moving forward with coaching, with team consultations that I may do with corporate teams. It gives me so much information about each individual that I can really help to highlight and affirm so many things about you, but also be able to tell you, like, this is why you're feeling stressed. This is why you're feeling burnout specifically, because it gives you that real-time functionality. So you'll be seeing illuminate, cultivate, elevate. You'll probably see illuminate you also. So choose you is the course is still there, and I'm still really focused on, making sure you're making yourself a priority. So a lot of that is still there. All those messages are still going to be there. You might just see some rebranding around that. Hey, friend. So you have been trying to make some shifts this year. Maybe you set some resolutions and you're just feeling stuck. You don't feel like you're making progress, or you're just not sure what to do. And you've heard me say this before, but being stuck is a mindset, not a position. And this is where a coach comes in to support you. Because here's what I know to be true about you, friend. If you could have done it alone, you would have already done it, period. And as a life coach and a certified PDP professional, I specialize in using a research-based personality and performance survey called the ProScan to illuminate how your unique personality and natural strengths, your work and life environments are influencing real-time performance. So here's what you need to do. Go to the link in the show notes and book your free clarity call to learn more about how I can support you in your goals. I can't wait to illuminate your strengths, cultivate your confidence, and elevate your life. So the other piece that I wanted to share with you, it was just really kind of on my heart, was this idea of excellence versus perfection, because I've known this information. I've known that God was calling me into building a full-time coaching business and a full-time speaking business for a few months. And I have shared this with you about this idea of all or nothing, right? Or having everything lined up before you share, or whatever it is, that all or nothing mentality. And I think it goes back to this idea of excellence versus perfectionism. And y'all know I'm all about helping mompreneurs ditch perfectionism and create progress, because no one's perfect. And if you're waiting for the perfect time, if you're waiting for the perfect figure, if you're waiting for the perfect marriage or the perfect whatever, like, it's just, you're going to keep waiting, right? So I wanted to share with you a little bit just about the difference in perfection and excellence, because you can still show up in excellence without striving for perfection. So perfectionism is, it's unrealistic expectations, right? You put unrealistic expectations on yourself when you're trying to be perfect. Case in point, me not coming out and even sharing with you this information until now was all this thought, well, I don't have the website ready, so I can't talk about this because I need to be able to go somewhere. Well, not really. Like you all have loved coming along the journey with me, whether it was the podcast or whether it was Choose You years ago, like helping me build out the colors, and the colors was always going to be turquoise, but the logos, and y'all co-create a lot of the stuff that I do. And I love that, because I want to create something that you want, but it's just those unrealistic expectations that we can like so easily fall into with perfectionism. Impossible timeframes. Like, again, expecting yourself to just put out all of the things, right, in a certain time frame, like impossible. When I think of impossible timeframes, I think about a mom who is on the PTO, who is volunteer at the church, who has got a business, who's, doing all these things with the kids. And then those impossible timeframes get put onto our family, right? And it's just impossible to keep up with that pace. Perfectionism amplifies comparison. So if you're trying to be perfect, right, as a mompreneur, in your business, in the things you do as a mom, you're probably comparing yourself to someone who appears like she's perfect and has it all together, but inside she could be dying, right? A slow death of fatigue and exhaustion and her own burnout. But on the outside, every, hair is in place, every outfit is put together, but you're comparing yourself to what you're seeing also on social media. And you think, well, my social media needs to look like that. And when we're striving for perfection, we really have the opportunity to amplify comparison. Perfectionism also eliminates your ability to celebrate. Like nothing is ever good enough for you to celebrate. This is when you could have had a win, a recent win in your business, and you're like, yeah, but, right? Like that was really fun. I did a good job, but there's always a but. It could have been better. And listen, it's a good thing for us to evaluate ourselves and evaluate our systems and our processes and how we do things because we want to make them better, but not perfect. So you should still be able to celebrate your wins. If you're not able to celebrate your wins or even see your wins, you're probably stuck in perfectionism because it's never good enough. And what happens when it's not good enough or we don't think it's good enough? We just keep going. And then it's never enough. So then you just keep going again. You keep working harder and harder and harder, thinking you're going to make it perfect, which leads to burnout. Perfectionism is going to lead to burnout, period, end of subject, because we know perfection doesn't exist. And it's funny because I don't really consider myself a perfectionist. I really don't. But when I look at some of these things, I can see where I have fallen into that in different seasons of my life. And if you care a lot about, and this is not from a pride standpoint, but I deeply care about providing an amazing experience, right, for you. And so I want to make sure that the website's inviting and the website is speaking to you. Like I want to make sure that you have a place to go if you want to connect, like all of those things. But when you really boil it down, sometimes it is because you want every T crossed and I dotted. And we have to just be willing to take messy, imperfect action and just get started, right? Because action brings clarity, clarity brings confidence, and confidence brings more action. So it's like this circle. But if you don't ever take that first action because you're waiting on the perfect plan from God or waiting for the perfect website from your web design person, or you're waiting on the perfect words to say on your podcast or on your Facebook Live, then you're never going to push the button and go live. You're never going to launch, right? Perfectionism also, you turn starting into a wall. You turn starting into a wall because you feel like you need to learn more. This is an easy trap for me because I'm a life learner. Y'all know I've been talking about all the books that I've been reading. Like, I just need to learn more. That is my default, y'all. I'm just being very vulnerable with that. That is my default when either I don't want to do something or I'm scared to do something or it's going to require me to step out of I'm like, I just need to learn more and then I'll do it. But it doesn't, that's not true. I'm literally telling myself a lie and I'm learning to catch myself in it. I'm learning to be like, stop learning so you can start earning, right? Slow your learn so you can earn. And that requires you just to start. Do your first sales call, do your first Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Reel, TikTok, whatever the new things are all going out there. Like, just be willing to start. But if you're in a perfectionistic mindset, is that a word? Perfectionistic mindset, then you turn starting into a wall because you're like, I just need to learn more. I know I'm literally reading somebody's mail right now. Someone is like, she is talking to me. We try to fix fictional problems when you're in perfectionism, like things that don't even make sense or even matter, you're trying to fix. And it cripples community because you're probably either not putting yourself out there to create community because, again, you're trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be perfect. Or we're expecting other people to be perfect. And that's not great for community either, right? So you can show up in excellence and define what excellence is for you. It's probably going to be different for everyone. Just like excellence is, success is defined by all of us different. You can show up in excellence versus perfection. And the difference is excellence launches, right? You launch the podcast, you launch the course, you launch that new business. You have that conversation because you know you can show up in excellence. It's not going to be perfect. It's probably could even get ugly, that conversation, but you're going to show up in excellence because you've prepared for it. Excellence gets stuff done. It hits the deadline. It crosses the finish line. Perfection never gets started. Excellence gives you energy. It energizes you when you know that you've shown up the best way you know how with the information you have at the time. That's showing up in excellence. Perfection will drain you because it'll never be enough. You'll never feel enough. You'll never feel worthy. You'll never feel like that opportunity is going to work for you or that coaching is going to work for you because they're not perfect. Like, it just warps everything. Excellence encourages. it encourages you to show up, right? Like one of the things I ask myself is, how do I want to show up and how do I want to be remembered? That's a value of excellence for me. How do I want to show up every time I walk into a room, an event, a family event, a business event? How do I want to show up and how do I want to be remembered? But perfection discourages. Perfection will, when I leave that speaking event, perfection will be like, you didn't say that, or you should have said this. Or again, yes, we should evaluate, but it will discourage you. It will not be from a place of positivity if you're living in the land of perfection. Excellence focuses on what matters most, and perfection focuses on details that just don't matter. Like I think about this last season, and again, waiting to talk to y'all about the website, even though the website's not ready, like all these details that I feel like I have to have. And finally someone said to me, and I think I shared this on a most recent episode, but way back when I was first launching Choose You, again, I was waiting to make sure I had everything from a tech standpoint ready. So when I shared the news and I shared that I was launching Choose You, people would know where to go and they could buy and they could be a part of the community group and all those things. And it just wasn't to my standards, right? To what my perfectionism, I guess, was at the time. It wasn't ready. And a friend of mine said, you're being selfish because there's something you need or that you have that someone else needs. And you just need to start. You just need to start. And I was so offended that she called me selfish because I'm not a selfish person. I'm the least selfish person that I know, that I went live immediately after that call because I was like, no, like I don't want to withhold something that can help somebody else. And so that same concept came up 2 weeks ago. So I think I did talk about this on a podcast, but maybe it was the beginning of this or March that I talked about it. But anyway, same thing came up. Like the more I tried to make the excuse of the details of not having the website ready or not having the landing pages or not having the one pager ready for you to be talking about the coaching that I'm going to be offering and things like that. Like there's someone out there that needs my help right now, right? There's someone right now that's listening to this podcast. You need to coach with me. You need a coach and you need to have a safe place to go and to talk and to work through and to have your strengths illuminated so that you can build your business the way you want to, so you can eliminate the burnout, so that you can elevate your life, all of those things, cultivate your confidence. And how selfish is it of me to be worried about all the details that don't really matter and not be talking about it? So I don't have to have all of those things to help other people. All I need is me and you on a phone call or on a Zoom, or me and you in a room in an event to speak. I don't necessarily have to have all those things right now to start talking about it. So excellence, focuses on what matters. And what matters is that someone needs a coach. Someone needs my style of coaching to help them. They don't have to have the website and all the other stuff. They're not looking for that. Are those things important for your business? Yes. And am I working on those? Yes. But do I have to have those right now to make an impact and use my gifts and my talents and my purpose? No. So it's not just what you were doing, it's who you're being, right? Who are you being? Are you showing up in excellence? Or are you striving for perfection? And because of that, you're not doing anything. You've got that wall, right? It says, what did I say earlier? You turn your starting into a wall. And being an entrepreneur is the best personal development that you will ever have. And I can say that since it's been 16 years since I've been an entrepreneur, I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about just all things mindset and personal development and professional development. And that's what makes me a great coach. Also is because I have gone through my own muck and mud, and I've worked my way through those hard seasons, those seasons of perfectionism, those seasons of not feeling enough, those seasons of not knowing where the next success is going to come from, but believing God for it. And that's where I'm at today. Like, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. It's not like I'm going to be buying a business in a box and know exactly where I'm going to go with it. Like I did when I signed up with 31. Even then I didn't know. I never dreamed that I would have the success that I had with 31. And that was really exciting. And so I'm looking forward to not knowing necessarily, well, I shouldn't say I'm looking forward to that because I really would like to know more, but I'm okay with having the faith and knowing that he's gone before me, and I'm believing that next success is coming. How it shows up and where it shows up, he knows. And I'm trusting that. The other day I was watching on I think it was ESPN, and I think it was the Miami basketball coach. Forgive me if you're listening and you're like a March Madness person. But he said, you train and then you trust. You train and then you trust. And if you do the right training, right, whether that's reading the Bible and praying and devotional time and, hiring a coach or whatever the train, I'm putting that in quotes, means for you, then you can trust. You can trust those opportunities are going to come. You can trust that you're going to succeed. Is it going to be easy? No. I told y'all from the very beginning when he called me out into that season of rest, I felt like either something really big and challenging was coming my way or something really big and exciting was coming my way. And it's probably going to be a little bit of both. And it has been a little bit of both. But I've been at kind of that out of the rest into preparation or training mode. And now I'm just trusting. And he's showing up and showing me things that are just amazing. And I'm so thankful for all of you for being on this journey with me. And I can't wait to share more with you about the ProScan, sharing more with you about how you can work with me. There'll be a link in the show notes for you to sign up for a free clarity call. I am offering those right now. The goal of that call is just to help you to get clear on what your next steps are, kind of where you are, where you want to go. And so you can find out more information about that in the show notes. Love to hop on a clarity call with you. And I think that's it. I think that is it for this episode. This was fun. I haven't had a solo episode in a while, so I look forward to this month. So this month is, I think it's called Financial Literacy Month or Financial Awareness Month. And so I do have some financial experts coming on to the show. One is a financial therapist. Did not know that even existed. She's amazing. You will really enjoy. We actually have 2 episodes with her because it was so good. I wanted to bring her back on. And then another financial expert. So if you struggle in your finances as a mompreneur, if you need to know where to start, whether you have mind drama around your finances and anxiety and stress, or whether you budgets and things like that, you're going to want to really tune into these episodes because we're going to dive right in to all of that. So that's it. Thank you so much again for sharing the show and for tuning in and following the show. If you didn't know, if you're following the show, these episodes should automatically download. So just go ahead and hit that follow button. It should be in the top right. Well, on Apple, it's on the top right of your screen. And feel free to share the show. And if there's a topic that you would like me to talk about, whether on a solo or bring in a guest expert, one of my Turquoise Talk guests, please just send me a DM on Instagram, or you can send me an email at martine@martinewilliams.com. And I can't wait to hop on a call with some of you on my free clarity call. And I look forward to another great month of inspiring and encouraging you and empowering you to take that next step, whatever it is. You have a next step and you have 100% responsibility for that next step. So take that next step and watch the Lord illuminate for you that he's there and he's guiding you step by step. All right, friends. Well, y'all know I'm believing in you always, and I will catch you on the next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link. Share this episode or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.